Hello everyone, this is part 18 of What If Naruto Was Betrayed and Leaves Konoha, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
And what I want done right is for all of you to die. Madara shouted out with malevolence, before he thrust his arm downward, which his Susanoo mimicked, and the huge blade it held sped forward in a murderous arc towards the warriors below. Damn it! Sasuke shouted, as he activated his own Sharingan Susanoo and barely blocked the sword with his bow. However, almost immediately the Susanoo bow began to buckle and crack under the pressure of the blade, and the young Uchiha shouted out in a strained voice. Hey Dobe, I could use a little help here. Unfortunately, Naruto was in no shape to offer any assistance, as he was kneeling down on one knee and breathing heavily. He still had not recovered yet from using Kurama's chakra to capture and redirect the 4 Biju bombs moments earlier. In fact, his chakra reserves were quite depleted and he didn't know how he was going to help Sasuke. That's when he heard Shunsui, Yoruichi, Kira, Yumakiki, and Momo chant in unison, while holding their palms upward towards the blade. Sprinkled on the bones of the beast. Sharp tower, red crystal, steel ring. Move and become the wind, stop and become the calm. The sound of warring spears fills the empty castle. Suddenly, an orb of yellow lighting appeared above the palm of their hands. And just as Madara's Susanoo blade broke through Sasuke's bow, all 5 Shinigami cried out. Hado number 63 Raikoho. Thunder roar seer. Immediately a massive concentration of energy that appeared as a high-level lightning strike erupted from their palms and struck the oncoming sword. Madara was shocked that this massive wave of yellow energy actually stopped his Susanoo blade and then was so powerful it was able to repel his attack. As the Shinigami was stopping Madara's attack, both Nel and Sakura ran over to Naruto and the green-haired Arrancar cried out. Naru-kun. As Naruto lifted his head to Nel's cry, his face was suddenly pulled into his surrogate daughter's now ample cleavage, as she hugged him tightly to her. Oh Naru-kun, are you alright? Nel asked with concern. Naruto attempted to answer, but was finding it difficult to breathe, as Neliel was hugging him so tightly to her bosom. Gathering what remaining strength he had, Naruto was able to push his face away and said in a gasping voice. Neliel, is that you? Yes Naru-kun, it's me. What happened to you? Naruto asked in a shocked tone of voice, as for the first time he got a good look at her transformed state. I know I must look very different, but you need not worry about my transformation. I've just attained my adult Arrancar form, that's all. It was at this moment that Sakura moved in and attempted to heal and restore Naruto's chakra, before he caught her hands and leveled a hard glare at her. Sakura was hurt by the look Naruto was giving her and she felt some tears well in her eyes, before she pleaded in a soft voice. Please Naruto-kun, Naruto, I just want to help you. Naruto hesitated a moment, before he let go of Sakura's hands and turned his attention back to Neliel and asked. Why are you here Nel-chan? You should be back at the camp in safety with Hinata-chan. Sakura slightly winced upon hearing Naruto attach the loving suffix chan to Hinata's name, but maintained her concentration, as she continued to replenish his chakra. I want to help Naru-kun, in this form my power has grown significantly and I can and want to help you in this battle. Nel stammered in reply. I don't know. Naruto hesitantly replied with concern. Please, let me help you Papa Naru. Naruto's eyes widened a bit upon hearing Nel, as this was the first time she had ever addressed him as her father. Now Naruto was even more inclined to be protective of her and desperately searched for some reason that would convince the girl to go back to the safety of the medical camp. Unfortunately, it was doubtful that Madara would let any of them leave, as another explosion rocked the battlefield. Once again, the Shinigami had managed to repel another Susanoo attack from Madara, but Naruto could see that they were starting to get fatigued. Calling out to everyone to move to his position, Naruto slowly rose to his feet, as Sakura pulled her hands away from his shoulders. Turning around, the blonde Jinchuriki flashed a small smile at his former teammate and said. It seems Ba-chan taught you well Sakura, thanks I feel a lot better now. You're welcome Naruto, I know this isn't the right time, but I need to talk to you. I know Sakura and we will. As soon as we take down Madara and everyone is safe, I promise you we'll talk then. Sakura nodded her head in understanding. When everyone had converged onto Naruto's position, he looked over to Madara, who had his eyes closed and he seemed uninterested in him at the moment. This confused Naruto, until he looked up and saw that Madara was reforming another Biju bomb and he commented. Okay everyone, we don't have much time. I think we all need to split up and attack Madara separately. We have the edge in speed between the Shinigami and their Shunpo, flash step, technique, as well as our own Shushin technique. Because if we stay together and the Uchiha team manages to score a hit, then it's game over for all of us. Everyone nodded their head in agreement, before Sasuke asked. I have no problem with the hit-and-run strategy Dobe, but what attacks should we use? Whatever the strongest attacks everyone has team. We've got to bring down Madara's Susanoo defense that is protecting him and the Biju tree. I agree with your plan Naruto, but I think you and Sasuke need to hold back and let the rest of us carry out the attack. You two have been battling Madara longer than us and your strength has been depleted significantly. Kakashi offered up in suggestion. I'm better than I was thanks to Sakura, but you're right about the team. She should replenish his chakra as well, because we're going to need his Susanoo to take that bastard down once and for all. My Susanoo won't work, it was only able to stop his Susanoo attack for a few seconds. I think Madara has increased his technique strength somehow. This Madara fellow has enhanced and strengthened it using demonic chakra, or as we call it Ryutsu. We can sense it emanating from his Susanoo frame surrounding him and the tree. Shunsui openly commented, while the rest of the Shinigami present nodded their heads in agreement. How are we going to take it down if he's reinforced it using Biju chakra? Sasuke questioned, as Sakura placed her hands onto his shoulders from behind and began to replenish the Uchiha's chakra. I think I've got one attack that might take down Madara's Susanoo, but I've got to go into Sage mode to do it and that's going to take me a little bit of time. We can buy you the time Naruto, but what exactly are you planning for this attack of yours? I'm going to combine my Senju chakra with Kurama's chakra and use it to create the most massive attack I can think of, the Cho-Odama Rasengan, ultra big ball spiraling sphere. Will it be strong enough to take down the Susanoo defense? I don't know, I figured I would first hit Madara's Susanoo with my most powerful Zanpakuto attack, the Getsuga Tensho, first and then follow up with the Cho-Odama Rasengan. Are those two attacks going to be enough Dobe? I don't know team, but it's all I've got, I just need the time to create it. We'll give you the time Naruto-sama, I promise. Thanks Shunsui, since you know the powers and abilities of your fellow Shinigami, you take charge of them in the fight, while Kakashi can take charge of the others. Both Shunsui and Kakashi nodded their heads in agreement, before Naruto added with sincerity and concern. But all of you be careful out there, don't go dying on me. Another nod from Shunsui conveyed his understanding, and a moment later he, Yoruichi, Momo, Kira, Kenpachi with Yachiru perched on his shoulder and Yumikika flash stepped away. Yugito, Ino, I want you to take up position on the left flank of Madara's Susanoo, I'll join you both there shortly. Yugito and Ino nodded their heads in understanding, before they each gave a fervent look towards Naruto, who in return gave a reassuring smile to both of them, before they raced off to take up the position Kakashi had ordered them to take. Sakura, you stay here and finish healing Sasuke, and then the both of you can join the rest of us in the battle. However, when you get there I want you to hang back Sakura, because we can't afford to lose our lone medic on the battlefield. Help out when you safely can, but don't take any unnecessary risks. I want you to watch over her Sasuke during the fight. Kakashi ordered with authority. Sasuke scowled for a moment, before he reluctantly answered. Hi Kakashi-sensei. Kurenai will watch over and protect Naruto, while he is gathering his Senjutsu chakra for his attack. No, I will be on the battlefield with you Kakashi-ku. Kakashi. Now it was Kakashi's turn to scowl a bit, before he said with a hard edge to his voice. Could I have a word with you Kurenai? The Genjutsu mistress nodded her head and both Junin stepped away from the others for a private conversation. Once they were a sufficient distance away from any prying ears, Kakashi spoke in a tense voice. Now look Kurenai, I don't want. No, you look Kakashi, I've told you before, I'm not some stereotypical damsel in distress who needs a man to always protect her. I'm a Leaf Village Junin and I've worked hard to achieve the rank. Please don't insult me by trying to keep me out of harm's way. Please Kakashi-kun, I love you and I don't want to argue with you, but don't try to keep me out of this fight. Kurenai sternly snapped, interrupting Kakashi. The silver-haired Junin looked down and saw Kurenai gazing at him with love and admiration, smiling brightly, a smile that should have made him happy, and it did, but in a bittersweet way. Finally he tore himself away from her withering gaze and spat with frustration. Damn it, I'm not trying to insult you by keeping you safe, it's just I'm. You're what? I'm scared. Kakashi softly answered. What are you scared of? This. You and me. You loving me, it scares me death. My life is a curse, Kurenai. It can't be shared with anyone who cares for me. Because everyone who has come to care about me and them in my life, dies. You're afraid of me. No, I'm not afraid of you, I'm afraid for you. I'm sorry, you may believe that your life is cursed, but I don't. And even if it is, I don't care, Kakashi-kun. I've finally found something that I was beginning to believe I would never have in my life, someone to love and to love me in return. I'm not about to let that go out of fear. You mustn't love me, Kurenai. That's for me to decide, Kakashi-kun, not you. I can't change your mind, Kunai, about participating in this battle. If I'm going to die, I'd rather it be with the man I love than anything else. Kurenai replied, before she embraced the silver-haired Junin in a loving hug. So Kakashi-sensei and Kurenai-sensei, who would have ever guessed that? Naruto openly remarked, as he saw the two Junin hugging one another in the distance. It knocked me for a loop when I walked in on them in bed together. Sasuke answered in mild amusement. As Naruto turned to look back at Sasuke with Sakura still healing and replenishing his chakra, a feeling of sad nostalgia swept through his mind. A few seconds later the blonde Jinchuriki commented in a wistful yet also biting tone of voice. Well, doesn't this bring back fond memories? Team number 7 reunited and look, it's just like old times. Me off to the side while Sakura fawns all over you, team. Much as I'd like stay and relieve this scene, again. I need to start gathering my Senjutsu chakra, and since Kakashi's going to lose his argument, Nelliel, you can watch over me. Of course, Papa Naru, I will protect you. A second later both Naruto and Nell disappeared in a swirl of leaves, leaving behind his two former teammates. As Sakura and Sasuke watched Naruto and his surrogate daughter vanish from sight, it was Sakura who commented in a saddened tone of voice. He's still so bitter when he sees us together. Bitter, ha. We should be grateful if that's all he feels towards us. If it were anyone else, they would hate us with every fiber of their being, if we had done to them what we've done to him over the years. I know we should have treated Naruto better when we were a team, but we were young and foolish. But I don't think we did anything that should make him hate us with every fiber of his being, as you put it. Sakura offered up in excuse. Why would you say something so stupid, Sakura? I only tried to kill the Dobe on several occasions in the past. I'm pretty sure that's a valid enough reason for him to hate me if he wanted to. Sasuke fired back, as his anger began to grow towards his former fiancé. But Naruto forgave you for that, Sasuke-kun. Sasuke winced upon hearing that affectionate suffix Sakura always addressed him by, but grew even angrier when he heard her remark. I know I've done some things to hurt Naruto and I'm sorry about that, but I don't think I've done anything that would make him hate me to the degree you say he should. Sasuke turned his head around to level a harsh glare at Sakura, which sent a shiver down her spine, before he turned back around and darkly declared. You should have told me the truth, Sakura. I don't know what you mean. Tell you the truth about what? Do you remember the day I asked you to be my girlfriend? Why, yes, I remember. Then do you remember what I asked you before that? Sakura bit her lip and knew what Sasuke referring to, but she couldn't vocally admit it. After a minute Sasuke spoke up once again and said, I'll take your silence as confirmation that you do remember what I asked. Which then begs the question of why did you lie to me, Sakura? Why did you tell me that the two of you were just friends while I was gone? When the truth was you had been together for 3 fucking years, before Naruto brought me back. Sasuke spat angrily. Sakura's throat went dry and her stomach twisted into a tight knot upon hearing Sasuke's question, and she struggled desperately to try and answer, but couldn't seem to find the words. However, Sasuke held no more patience for his former teammate and fiancé, and he snapped with fury. Damn it, Sakura. Answer me. Why did you lie to me? I lied because I thought I loved you and was scared if I told you about me and Naruto that I would lose any chance of being with you. Sasuke fumed silently, while Sakura continued to replenish his chakra, before he replied in pained tone of voice. As much as I hate to say it, but you were right. I never would have asked you to be my girlfriend if I had known that. I couldn't do that to Naruto if I knew you two were in a relationship, knowing how long and how much he loved you. Which is why what happened after that makes me sick to my stomach. Why, you mean when we first made love? Sakura asked in a hurt voice. Sasuke heard Sakura's pain-filled voice, but it meant little to him now as he somberly answered. It's not what we did that makes me sick to my stomach, but the fact I know Naruto had to witness it. What are talking about? Sakura asked in confusion. I'm talking about that day in the hospital when I asked you to be my girlfriend and we made love for the first time. Naruto saw us. And no, that can't be true. Sakura exclaimed in a panic. It's true, and it gets even worse. Naruto came by my room that day because he was going to propose to you and ask me to be his best man. And what sight was he greeted with when he arrived at my room? He got to see me, his supposed best friend and surrogate brother, fucking the girl he had loved his entire life. The same girl he had decided he wanted to spend the rest of his life with. Sakura dropped to her knees as the once happy memory of that day had now become a source of incredible pain, as she spoke in a gasping, choked voice with tears streaming down her face. I never knew he saw that. I never even questioned why he broke up with me when I saw him later that day. All he said was that he knew I loved you and that he would step aside so the two of us could be happy, and he walked out of my apartment. At the time I was just so relieved that I didn't have to break up with him on my own. Oh Kami, what did I do to Naruto? He must hate me and I don't blame him. He doesn't hate you, Sakura, or even me, which is a miracle because Kami knows we deserve his hate. I can't even imagine the pain and anger he must have felt seeing us together like that. How he had enough self-control not to kill the two of us right then and there'll never know. If the situation had been reversed, I know I wouldn't have had that self-control. Kami, for how much the two of us have hurt him, we can't even ask him for forgiveness, can we? No, we can't, Sakura. All we can do is pray to Kami that one day he will. We do have one thing in our favor though. What's that? It's that of anyone I've ever met or known, no one has the capacity to forgive as much as Naruto does. It's one of the things that make him so special and a better person and human being than you and I can ever be. A moment later, Kakashi came marching up with Kurenai beside him, and he looked around and asked, "Where is Naruto?" "He's over there about 100 yards gathering his senjutsu. He figured you were going to lose your argument about Kurenai-sensei protecting him, so his kid is going to do it," Sasuke answered, while pointing to where Naruto and Nel were. "I didn't lose any argument. We just came to a compromise," Kakashi replied in annoyance. "So does that mean Kurenai-sensei is going to stay behind and protect the Dobe?" "No, it does not," Kurenai sternly answered. "So where was compromise, Kakashi-sensei?" "Shut up, Sasuke," the silver-haired Junin replied with irritation, before adding, "It looks like Shunsui and the rest of the Shinigamis are in position to attack. We need to get to Yugito and Ino's position now. Are the three of you ready?" All three Leaf Shinobi bore determined looks upon their faces and nodded to Kakashi, before all four of them shushed away in swirl of leaves. As the battle began, it soon became clear that both combatants had clear advantages and disadvantages working for them. Madara was indeed powerful, but by merging himself with the Biju tree he had limited himself to using only his Sharingan Susanoo for both attack and defense. While his opponents held the advantage of numbers, speed, and a myriad of attacks they could unleash. However, even with these advantages, the Shinigami and Leaf Shinobi found they could do little against the Biju reinforced Susanoo that Madara wielded. So for the next half hour the battle had degenerated into a hit-and-run affair of the Shinigami and Shinobi unleashing attack after attack onto the Susanoo skeletal being, while also dodging the massive blade it held. In fact, if one were to look upon the scene from a distance, it was almost akin to someone flailing away at flying stinging bees with a sword. Unfortunately, stinging was the appropriate word, as the Shinigami and Shinobi found that even if they were able to inflict some damage onto the skeletal frame of the Susanoo, it would quickly repair itself thanks to the infusion of Biju chakra it was receiving from Madara. As the Susanoo being swung his blade again at one of his opponents and missed yet again. The frustration that had been growing within Madara came to a boiling point and he shouted out in angered malevolence. "Enough of this. You bothersome insects may be able to dodge my strikes, but attempt to dodge the power of a Biju bomb explosion." Madara then thrust his arm downward and the Biju bomb fell downwards towards the battlefield. "No. Naruto shouted in alarm and was about to cease his sage mode in gathering Senjutsu chakra to activate his evil wind technique and once again to try and capture and redirect the Biju bomb, before he heard Sasuke shout. Don't do it, Dobe. Keep gathering your chakra, we'll be alright. Sasuke then activated his own Sharingan Susanoo and using its frame enveloped himself, Sakura, Kurenai, Ino, Yugito, and Kakashi within it. While Shunsui shouted out an order to his Shinigami comrades. Shinigami, Kiddo Pyramid Barrier. A moment later, all the Shinigami formed a green pyramid-shaped barrier around themselves, while Yachiru suddenly appeared in front of Naruto and Nel and chirped happily. Kenny sent me here protect the two of you. The little pink-haired Shinigami then erected the same green pyramid-shaped barrier around them just as the Biju bomb struck the battlefield and exploded with tremendous force. This defensive barrier technique was created by head captain Genryosai Shigekuni Yamamoto and was immensely strong, able to resist all but the strongest of attacks. Regrettably, the immense power of a Biju bomb explosion proved to be one of those attacks. The barriers were able to hold long enough until the explosion began to disperse, but eventually they shattered and sent the Shinigami flying in various directions. Sasuke's Susanoo lasted just as long, but only because Yugito had managed to reinforce it with her own Biju chakra. However, even that was not enough to prevent it to crumbling to the ground in pieces, but fortunately both barriers had successfully protected everyone. As Momo landed in some nearby woods near the battlefield, she struggled to get up, as she was quite fatigued and dazed because of the Ryutsu she had to use for the barrier. So she never even sensed the individual who snuck up behind her and thus was unprepared when she turned around for the vicious strike across chest, opening up deep claw-like lacerations, as she fell to the ground unconscious. Kiba stood over Momo's prone body and smirked with pride at what he had done, before he remarked to himself. Not a bad-looking bitch, kind of reminds me of Hinata, but she doesn't have the tits. If I had the time I'd stick around and have a little fun with her, but I've got a certain wife-stealing demon bastard to kill. Kiba then reached down and picked up Momo's Zanpakuto and keenly inspected it, before saying with a hint of evil and malice in his voice. And this little item should help me out nicely in accomplishing that. Kiba then stealthily crept back into the forest to patiently wait for the most opportune time to strike. As the Gote Shinigami picked themselves up from the ground, they all converged on Sasuke's position and watched as the dust and debris began to dissipate and settle from the explosion. A feeling of frustration spread through all of them when they saw Madara still merged within the Biju tree and still encased and protected by his Susanoo warrior, which looked as though it didn't have a scratch on it from the explosion. Madara gazed down and saw the looks of resignation and defeat upon his opponents' faces and grinned to himself, before he declared with contempt to them. Impressive that all of you were able to survive, but I highly doubt that you will be able to pull that trick off a second time. Take some time to pray to whichever gods you worship. Your deaths will come very shortly. Madara then closed his eyes and began the process of creating yet another Biju bomb. Everyone seemed to exhale a sigh of resignation, as they were tired, frustrated and out of ideas on what they could do to stop Madara, as Shunsui commented. Well, this really sucks, we've used just about every Kiddo spell and Bankai at our disposal and we can't seem to inflict any damage to that monstrosity. That's not entirely true, we have inflicted damage onto the Susanoo. Kakashi stated. A fat lot of good it does us when the damn thing heals the damage almost immediately when we inflict it. Kenpachi groused in anger. Wait a minute, where's Momo? Sasuke exclaimed in a worried voice, as he and everyone began to look around. It was Sasuke who first spotted the Shinigami officer stumble out of the woods holding her chest, before she weakly called out, as she collapsed to the ground. S.A.'s Sasuke-kun. Momo. Sasuke cried out, before he shushed away to appear next to her. He lifted the young woman into his arms and quickly reappeared where the others and shouted. Sakura, please help her, she's been hurt. Sasuke laid Momo down to the ground and Sakura's hands began to glow in a green chakra light, as she ran him over the wounds the girl had. Did the explosion do that, Sakura? No, Kurenai-sensei, these injuries aren't consistent with the wounds you would receive from an explosion. The way these lacerations look, it's almost as if she was attacked by some sort of animal. Can you help her? Sasuke asked in a worried voice. She's important to you, isn't she, Sasuke? Yes. She is. Sasuke softly replied, while he cradled Momo's head in his lap. I can help her, she'll be alright in a while. Okay, while the pink-haired medic is helping Momo, what are we going to do about that old bastard in the tree? We're going to follow through with our original plan, Yoruichi, Naruto announced as he, Nelil, and Yachiru appeared beside them, before adding in a determined voice. I'm going hit Madara's Susanoo with my most powerful Zanpakuto to attack the Getsuga Tensho first and then follow up with the Cho Odama Rasengan combined Senjutsu Chakra and Kurama's Chakra. Have you gathered enough Senjutsu Chakra, Naruto? I don't know, Kakashi-sensei, but what I've got will have to do, because we don't have the time anymore. We've got to hit Madara before he completes another Biju bomb to wipe us all out. Not to be a fly in the soup, Naruto-sama, but I'm worried about regenerative powers of that Susanoo being. We underestimated the speed in which it recovers from the wounds we inflict on it. We need an attack that can wound the entire body of that beast at once. Can your Getsuga Tensho and Cho Odama Rasengan accomplish this? I'm not sure, Shunsui, but what else do we have? You now have us for the fight, young Naruto. Everyone turned around and was stunned to see the former Gotei 13 head captain Genryosai Shigekuni Yamamoto standing before them in all his regal glory. Yamamoto-san! Naruto exclaimed in surprise. The former Shinigami were equally surprised that the head captain had decided to join the fight. However, they were even more shocked when Byakuya Kuchiki stepped out from behind the imposing figure of Yamamoto. Byakuya, Shunsui, Yoruichi, and Zaraki shouted in greeting. A slight nod from the ever-stoic former Gotei 13 captain of Squad 6 was the only acknowledgement he gave to his comrades. Byakuya-sama. Sasuke addressed the man, while bowing in respect. Uchiha-san, it is good to see that you are still alive. Did you manage to unlock your Bankai? Hi. I was able to achieve that thanks to help of my friend Naruto and my former sensei Kakashi. It has been a long time, hasn't it, Hatake Kakashi? Yamamoto expressed to the masked shinobi. It's you. Kakashi uttered in disbelief. What is it, Kakashi-sensei? Do you know Yamamoto-san? Naruto asked in curiosity. I never knew his name, but many years ago, about when I was your age, I was severely injured on a mission. I thought I was going to die, but when I woke up this man, I found that my wounds had been tended to and this man taking care of me. He saved my life and while I was recovering taught me about Kido spells, as well as Bankai. If not for him, I wouldn't have been able to save Ino or help you unlock your Bankai, Sasuke. We can reminisce later. Quickly, I need all you to appraise me of the current situation, as well as a concise briefing of all of the powers and skills each of you possess. So I may form a battle plan. Yamamoto ordered with authority to everyone present. After a few minutes of considered review of the information he gathered from everyone, Yamamoto stamped his wooden staff firmly on the ground and announced, "Thank you all for the information you have provided me. Young Naruto, if you will allow me to take command, I have assessed the situation and formed a strategy that should allow us to defeat this Madara individual once and for all." Yeah, sure, Yamamoto-san, you can take charge. From what Shunsui has told me, you've got more battlefield experience than all of us combined. That is merely a byproduct of my advanced years over all of you, but I thank you for placing your faith and confidence in my abilities. Now I must speak to this Madara and offer him the opportunity to surrender. Surrender? Are you nuts, old man? He's an Uchiha, we never surrender. Sasuke exclaimed in response. Arrogance and impudence is an inherited trait within the Uchiha clan. Pretty much, Yamamoto-san. Naruto replied with a grin, while everyone else save for Sasuke seemed to nod their heads in affirmation. Well, be that as it may, I have always offered my foes a chance to surrender, before engaging them in battle. It is the honorable thing to do. Yamamoto declared, before he flash-stepped away and appeared in front of Madara. Madara Uchiha, my name is Genryosai Shigekuni Yamamoto. I am the head Shinigami captain of the Gotei 13 divisions of the Soul Society. HMPH, I'm supposed to believe that you're a Shinigami. Madara spat with derision. No, you should believe that I'm the Shinigami. Why are you here, supposed Shinigami? Madara asked with contempt. I'm here to offer you the chance to surrender. I have assessed the situation and developed a strategic battle plan to defeat you. You have no hope of victory, so you would be wise to accept my offer, as I will only make it this one time. Bah! I have no time for you, old man, and your delusions. I refuse your laughable offer, now be gone, as I have people to kill and a world to decimate. Or imprudent decision, Madara, one which you will soon regret. You foolish old man, I may not look it, but I have over a century of battlefield experience. I highly doubt that you could devise any plan that I cannot counter, so my defeat is nothing but a whimsical fantasy on your part. It is not I who is foolish, but you Madara. For you may well have over a century of battlefield experience, but that is nothing compared to the 21 centuries that I retain. Yamamoto declared, before he flash-stepped away. Upon his return to Naruto and the others, he exhaled a heavy sigh. He didn't go for it, did he, Yamamoto-san? No, young Naruto, he did not. His pride and arrogance will be his undoing, as he will soon learn. So what's the plan, old man Yama? Shunsui questioned. All of you pay attention and listen closely, as here is what I've devised. Madara saw all of the Shinigami and Leaf Shinobi suddenly appear on the battlefield. He looked about and then saw that fool of an old man a short distance behind them with some pink-haired girl who was tending to someone on the ground. He smirked with confidence, as his Susanoo defense lifted its black blade ready to strike. Madara decided he would let them make the first move. This was a mistake that he would soon regret. Kurenai and Byakuya, you may begin the attack. Yamamoto commanded. Kurenai immediately went through a series of hand signs and called out. Genwaku Kahana Rashi. Blinding Petal Storm. Instantly a swirling mass of flower petals appeared around Madara, moving about and blinding him. The elder Uchiha knew this was a genjutsu and activated his Sharingan to dispel it. However, it bought enough time for Byakuya to get into position, before he dropped his Zanpakuto straight down and said, Senbon Sakura Kageyoshi. Vibrant display of 1,000 cherry blossoms. Scatter. The sword phased into the ground, as though it were a pool of water. Energy began to ripple and expand out, turning the surrounding area dark, and within seconds, 2 rows of 1,000 giant blades rose up from the ground. Those 1,000 swords then scattered and countless flying blades began to pierce Madara's Susanoo being. Madara cursed to himself as even with his Sharingan he could not see the movements of these blades. Byakuya controlled the movement of the blades with his mind alone. Using his hands allowed him to do so more effectively, making the blades increase in speed threefold. Through this blinding speed and control of the blade fragments, it allowed Byakuya to inflict thousands of shredding wounds onto Madara's Susanoo all at once. Shunsui, Yoruichi, Zaraki, Yachiru, Kira, Yumakiki, Kakashi, and Sasuke. Attack! Yamamoto called out. The Shinigami warriors immediately incanted the same Kido spell they had used before, except for Zaraki, who lifted his eye patch away and a stream of electrical energy discharged from his eye to join with the high-level lightning strikes erupting from the palms of his comrades. Meanwhile, both Sasuke and Kakashi appeared next to the head of the Susanoo being and sped through some hand signs, before calling out in unison. Chidori. The 2 Leaf Shinobi thrust their electrically charged arms into the Susanoo being, adding to the electrified attacks of the Shinigami. Soon, the entire skeletal frame of Madara's Susanoo was electrically charged, which prevented the shredded wounds inflicted by Byakuya to heal. Yugito, Nelil, and Ino wound the beast even further. Yamamoto called out. Yugito in her 2-tailed Nibi state unleashed a vicious claw strike onto the Susanoo, while Ino unleashed a barrage of kunai with exploding notes attached to them. Finally, Nelil with her enhanced Espada strength followed up Ino's attack by punching the ground with earth-shattering force and sent a shockwave heading directly towards the Susanoo and nearly caused the immense being to topple over. Naruto, unleash your Bankai now. Yamamoto quickly ordered. Naruto pointed Zangetsu forward, as he placed one arm upon his sword, while the other held the Zanpakuto straight and true, before boldly shouting out. Here we go, Zangetsu. Get Sugar Tensho. Naruto then swung his Zanpakuto towards the Susanoo and a crescent-shaped wave of spirit particles erupted from the blade's edge and was now streaking directly at Madara. As the blue crescent of energy arced forward from point-blank range, it forced Madara to bring up his Susanoo blade to block against the powerful attack. However, when the spirit particles struck, they seemed to combine with the electrical attacks of the others, further electrifying his Susanoo and preventing it from healing. Now Naruto, unleash your ultimate Rasengan. The head captain declared. Naruto quickly went through the hand signs, but before he finished he called out in his mind. Are you ready to do this, Kurama? I'm ready, Kit, just be quick about it, as maintaining the balance between your Senjutsu chakra and my own is difficult. We don't want this damn ball of energy of yours blowing up before you're able to deliver it. A moment later, Naruto activated the final hand sign and raising his arms above his head called out. Cho Odama Rasengan. Ultra Big Ball Spiraling Sphere. Instantly, a wildly spinning huge mass of chakra compressed into a high density in the form of a gigantic sphere appeared above Naruto. This swirling mass was a combination of Naruto's blue Senjutsu chakra mixed equally with the Kyuubi no Yuko's red-colored chakra. After a moment, Naruto thrust his arms forward and the Ultra Rasengan flew towards Madara. "Everyone to my position at once," Yamamoto cried out. All the Shinigami and Leaf Shinobi immediately flash-stepped or shushan to the head captain's position, who threw up the same green pyramid-shaped barrier they had used earlier, only this one was of a larger scale and more powerful as well. Madara brought his Susanoo blade up to block Naruto's Rasengan, but his eyes grew wide in horror, as it broke through the blade almost in an instant, before it struck the black skeletal frame of his Susanoo and crackled all around it. The elder Uchiha screamed in anguish, as the sphere of chakra then exploded. The force of the blast was massive and the people inside of the pyramid barrier huddled close to the ground. Except for Yamamoto, who stood proud and confident watching with a keen eye as the Biju-enhanced Susanoo being began to crack and then crumble to the ground in a heap around the Biju tree. A few miles away, Hinata and Princess Kazuhana Kiyuki rushed out of a medical tent along with several other people who had heard and felt the massive explosion that shook their camp. Several miles off in the distance, a large mushroom-like plume of smoke and debris rose towards the heavens, as everyone looked on in shock and astonishment. Hinata felt some tears well in her eyes, as all she could do was silently pray that everyone was all right. Naruto rose agonizingly from the ground where he had landed, and began to cough out some earth and debris. He had been unable to teleport to Yamamoto's position in time and had to buffer the explosion using the Kyuubi chakra cloak as a shield. The blonde Jinchuriki gazed around and was stunned by the destruction, as it looked as if the force of the impact had blown every tree, shrub, and rock formation within a 1-mile radius away. Naruto looked to where Madara had been and smiled. It appeared that Yamamoto's plan had worked, the Susanoo defense was gone, which meant Madara was completely vulnerable to one final attack delivered by the head captain himself. Yamamoto dropped the green pyramid-shaped barrier, before he brought his wooden staff forward and pointed it at Madara. Instantly, the wood began peeling off, revealing its true form of a standard katana, with a dark purple handle and a circular hand guard. This Zanpakuto's power is so great, even the strongest of Shinigami are afraid of it, even in its sealed form. The name of this blade was only spoken in whispers in the Soul Society, so it was always surprising to the Shinigami when the head captain unleashed it as he did now. Ryujin Jaka. Flowing blade like flame. Taimatsu. Torch. Then Yamamoto with a simple wave of Ryujin Jaka created a great inferno engulfing Madara and the Biju tree instantly. Madara screamed in agony as the fire being generated by the attack completely consumed him and the tree he had merged himself with. Yamamoto increased the intensity of the flames and soon nothing remained, but ashes of the elder Uchiha and the tree to which he was going to destroy the world with. Everyone around Yamamoto rose from the ground to see the still smoldering remains of Madara Uchiha and exhaled a sigh of relief. It was finally over and the threat to the world had been stopped yet again. It was then they noticed that Naruto was not with them and they frantically began searching for him. "There he is," Yoruichi shouted and pointed in the direction Naruto was limping towards them. "Hey Dobe, nice job with the Rasengan," Sasuke yelled out to his former teammate, as he waved to him. Naruto grinned and waved back and was about to say something when he suddenly coughed out some blood and felt a searing pain in his chest. Looking down, Naruto wondered why a sword was sticking out of his chest, until he heard Kiba, who was holding the hilt of the blade behind him, proclaim, as he fell to the ground, with his blood quickly pooling around his body. "Die you damn demon! Die you damn demon!" Kiba shouted, as he ripped the Zanpakuto out of Naruto, who fell to the ground in a bloody heap. Kiba then held his stolen Zanpakuto high above his head and with a maniacal grin on his face prepared to bring the blade down and stab Naruto once more. Suddenly, Sasuke appeared behind him and shouted with vengeance, as the sound of 1,000 birds crackled in the air. "Chidori!" Kiba spat out some blood, while Sasuke thrust his electrified hand into his back and severed the Inuzuka's spine, as he dropped the sword he had impaled Naruto with. As this was going on, Naruto found himself in his mindscape lying in front of the Kyuubi's cell, as he weakly called out to his tenant. "Kurama, what's happening? I feel so cold. We're dying, Kit, that's what's happening. Can't you heal us? I wish I could, but that blade that was used on us was specifically designed to kill demons. I can't counteract and heal any wounds suffered by it. And your wound is too severe to be healed by normal means. I'm sorry, Kit, but this is the end for us. Kyuubi answered in a sad and regretful tone of voice. Naruto heard this tone and closed his eyes, before he stammered and declared. It's alright, Kurama. You've saved my ass plenty of times in my life. I can't really get mad or blame you for the one time you can't. It was a good ride, Naruto. I might not have thought you were a worthy vessel to contain me when you were younger. But you proved me wrong as you grew up, and I can't think of a finer mortal to go meet Kami with on the other side. Thanks, Kurama. As far as tailed beast demons go, you're the best one out of all of them. Naruto replied with a small smile, before he and the fox demon drew their final breaths. Meanwhile, back in the living world, Sasuke ripped his hand out of Kiba, who fell to the ground onto his back. The Inuzuka heir tried to move, but to his panic found he was unable to move. Kiba was frozen in absolute terror, as the killing intent directed upon him by Sasuke was overwhelming. As the Uchiha ground his boot into his chest, he heard Sasuke's angered voice growl out with malevolence. I've severed your spine, you mangy mutt, that's why you can't move. Now I'm going to end your life. Sasuke reached around and grabbed his Zanpakuto off his back, before raising the segmented blade above his head with both hands, fully intent to cleave Kiba in half. However, before Sasuke could follow through with his killing blow, Kakashi suddenly appeared in front of him, blocking Kiba, as he kept Sasuke at bay and commanded. Sasuke, stop, don't kill him. Sasuke glared at his former sensei, before turning his head to see the lifeless body of his only true friend lying in a pool of blood. Becoming even more enraged at this sight, Sasuke turned back to Kakashi and spat with fury at being prevented from seeking justified vengeance for Naruto. Why are you stopping me? Look over there, Naruto is dead and this piece of shit is the one who killed him. He deserves to fucking die, so get the fuck out of my way and let me avenge Naruto. Believe me, Sasuke, I would like nothing more than for you to take revenge on Kiba for what he has done, but I can't let you kill him. Lady Tsunade's orders to Kurenai and I were for everyone to return, safe and unharmed. I don't give a damn about the Hokage's orders. This bastard is going to die one way or another for what he did. And if you try to stop me, I'll kill you to Hatake. Sasuke screamed in a blind rage. Before Kakashi could respond to his student's threat, a scream ripped through the battlefield, as Ino came running up Naruto's body. She immediately dropped to her knees, before she cradled Naruto's head in her lap and frantically pleaded over and over again, sobbing. Wake up, Naruto-kun, wake up. You can't be dead, you're too strong and stubborn to be killed. I promised Hinata that I would bring you back to both of us. So quit messing around, you barker, and wake up. You have to wake up, you have me and Hinata and a baby on the way. We were all going to be so happy together, so you have to wake up, Naruto-kun. Ha, 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 cry all you want for him to wake up, he's not going to, you demon-loving whore. Kiba spat out in malicious enjoyment. Instantly, and with Kakashi unable to stop her as he was still keeping Sasuke at bay. Ino was on top Kiba and was gouging his eye out with a kunai. Kiba's screams of agony echoed through the battlefield, before Kurenai arrived and was able to pull the blonde Kunoiki off of her former student. A moment later, all of the Shinigami along with Yugito, Nelil, and Sakura supporting the injured Momo, who got her first look at Kiba and stammered. That's the man who attacked me. Sasuke heard this and redoubled his efforts to break away from Kakashi and inflict some pain onto the Inuzuka heir. Ino herself was still being restrained by Kurenai, saw Sakura and shouted in desperation. Sakura, do something, save Naruto-kun. You were trained by Lady Tsunade, you can do it, you can save him. With tears welling in her eyes at the sight of Naruto, Sakura approached and knelt down over him. The pink-haired medic's hands began to glow an ethereal green, as she activated her Shaozen Jutsu, which allows a ninja to heal wounds by focusing their own chakra to their hands. The Shinigami shook their heads sadly, as they watched the young girl pour more and more of her chakra into Naruto's wound, trying to heal him. Being spirits of death, they could sense when a human had passed over, and they knew Sakura's efforts were futile. After a few minutes, Sakura turned to face everyone and with tears now streaming down her own face said in a pain-filled voice. I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do, I can't save him. Naruto-kun is dead. No, that can't be true. Naruto-kun promised me he wouldn't go away like Ichigo and the others. He said it was the promise of a lifetime. Naruto-kun wouldn't lie to me, he can't be dead. Neliel shouted in grief-stricken horror, refusing to believe that Naruto was gone. I'm sorry Nell, I'm sure he didn't want to break his promise to you, but Naruto-kun is gone. Sakura stammered in sympathy, as the pain the green-haired was feeling. She was going through the same pain as well. Neliel just stood rooted to the spot, her entire body shaking, as everyone stared at her. Suddenly, Nell's Arrancar powers erupted and violently whipped around her entire body. The power emanating from her was staggering, as everyone around her looked on with trepidation and prepared themselves to try and subdue the young woman. However, before they could act, Nell raised her arm and let loose a blood-curdling scream of anguish, as a massive bolt of Ritsu discharged from her hand and shot skyward before it exploded. It was then that the remaining energy surrounding Nell's body began to disappear and she began to transform back into her childlike form and collapsed onto the ground. Nell-chan! Ino shouted in concern, as she broke away from Kurenai and rushed over to the unconscious little girl. What the hell was that? Ino openly asked, as she knelt down and cradled the young girl in her arms. It appears that Neliel, in a moment of unbridled pain and grief over Naruto's death, her Arrancar power exploded from within her. We were most fortunate that she directed the blast up and away from us. Yamamoto offered in explanation. A sad pall of silence enveloped the battlefield like a shroud, punctuated only by the sobs of many of the people there, as everyone attempted to come to grips with Naruto's death. The blonde shinobi had touched all of their lives in significant ways. Even in the short time the Shinigami had known him, they had felt a kinship with Naruto, and his passing had affected them to degrees they hadn't realized. Finally, it was Yamamoto who broke the oppressive mood surrounding them when he declared, "I know it is of small solace to everyone, but Naruto's spirit should appear before us soon and we will perform the ritual of Konso for him." What is this Konso ritual? Konso, or soul burial, is the process by which a Shinigami sends wandering spirits in the human world to soul society, if they are good in life, or hell if their life was full of evil acts. Konso is performed by using the hilt of the Shinigami's Zanpakuto, tapping the soul on their forehead and transporting them to the afterlife. Young Uchiha. Will we be able to see Naruto-kun when he appears? Ino stammered through her tears. I'm sorry Ino, but only a Shinigami can perceive and see a wandering spirit. Ino became even more saddened upon hearing Yamamoto's reply, before the elder Shinigami added. However, we do not need to immediately send Naruto's spirit to the Soul Society, so all of you can say your final words and goodbyes to him and we will relay his responses back to you. Meanwhile, Sakura heard all the conversations going on, but could only stare at Naruto's lifeless face, as tears streamed down her own. She couldn't believe that Kami was so cruel as to take Naruto away, not when she had finally recognized and admitted to herself he was the one she truly loved. As the pink-haired Kunoiki looked around at all of the sorrow-filled and dejected faces of the people around her, she realized how many others loved and cared for Naruto and were feeling the same kind of pain she was experiencing over his passing. Suddenly, an epiphany struck Sakura like a lightning bolt, and she knew without question what she had to do and said, "Kakashi-sensei, why don't you and the others go somewhere else to wait for Naruto-kun's spirit to appear, while I close up and clean the wounds on his body? I think it will be easier for all of you to not have to see me do that and get him ready for transport. Are you up to it, Sakura?" "Why yes, I don't want to return Naruto-kun to the Leaf Village looking like this." "What about Kiba?" Sasuke angrily asked. "I've already run a medical scan on him and the wound you inflicted on him, Sasuke, is a mortal wound. I can't save him and he should bleed out shortly. I'll take care of the bastard after he passes on and get him ready for transport as well." As Sakura watched everyone she knew move off with the Shinigami to wait for Naruto's spirit to arrive, she gave a small sad smile, as she would miss all of them. Exhaling a sigh, Sakura reached down to stroke Naruto's cheek and move a strand of his blonde hair out of his eyes. He looked so beautiful, she thought to herself, and silently admitted with regret to herself, "Oh Naruto-kun, I've made so many mistakes in my life with regards to you and caused you so much pain. I'm such a stupid fool for throwing away the best thing that ever happened to me in my life. I came here to try and atone for the sins I've committed against you and pray to Kami that you would find it in your heart to forgive me. Would you have forgiven me? Could you have forgiven me? I couldn't very well blame you if you didn't. If I'm honest with myself, I know I'm not deserving of your forgiveness. All I truly deserve from you is your hatred." Sakura then leaned down and placed a loving kiss onto Naruto's forehead, before she softly whispered, I know you can't hear me, but I just wanted to say that what I'm about to do isn't about me seeking your forgiveness. Like I said, I don't deserve it. But you mean too much to too many people, Naruto-kun, more than I ever will. So I do this to bring you back to them, not for me. Sakura then placed her hands onto Naruto's chest and she softly said, Kashu Tensei no Jutsu. One's life resurrection technique. Sakura then began to release her chakra into Naruto, as her hands began to glow a pale blue color, while she channeled all of her life essence into him. As Sakura was pouring her life force into Naruto, a small smile spread across her face, as she felt no regret in doing this, but peace and contentment. Nearby, Kiba regained consciousness and craned his head to see what Sakura doing. Suddenly, he noticed Naruto's chest slowly began to rhythmically rise and fall, and the mortally wounded Inuzuka shouted with fury. Sakura, you bitch, what are you doing? Kiba's shout had alerted everyone and they turned to see what Sakura was doing. After a few seconds, it was Kakashi who realized what jutsu his former student was performing and cried out in a panic. We have to stop her. The silver-haired Junin immediately shushed over to where Sakura was, but he was too late when he saw her slump over Naruto's body. He immediately lifted her off of Naruto and checked her pulse, before he cradled the young girl against his chest and began to softly weep. As everyone came running up, they saw Kakashi tears and were confused about what was going on. Suddenly, Naruto's body convulsed once, startling everyone, before his eyes fluttered open and a moment later, he abruptly bolted upright and gasped for air. Naruto, you're alive. Several people shouted in shock and disbelief. Yeah, I guess I am. What happened? That worthless mutt Kiba stabbed you from behind and killed you, Dobe. Sork answered, as he helped Naruto to his feet. Both of them turned to gaze at Kiba, who glared at both of them, before using his last remaining strength spat with bile and rage. Damn you both, I'll see you in hell. You first, dog boy. Sasuke spat in insult, as they watched Kiba take his final breath. It was then that Sasuke's words finally registered in Naruto's head and he exclaimed in confusion. Wait, what do you mean I was dead, team? However, before Naruto could get an answer, he was suddenly gang-tackled by Nelil, Ino, and Yugito. All three of them crying tears of joy of Naruto being alive, as they hugged, kissed, and berated the blonde Jinchuriki. You baka, if you ever pull something like that again I'll never forgive you and neither will Hinata. Ino exclaimed in between her kisses. Don't you ever thakare me like that again, Papa Naru, you almost broke your promise to me. Nell cried in admonishment of her adoptive father. I can't believe you're alive. Yugito declared in happiness. Did I really die? Naruto thought to himself. It's true, Kit, you died. In fact, we both died when that wretched mutt on the ground impaled us from behind with a zanpakuto. Kurama's voice echoed in his mind. I thought that was some sort of weird dream, Kurama. You mean that really happened? It happened, we died, but I have no idea how we are now alive again. After Naruto got the three ladies currently glomming him calmed down, he turned to Sasuke, who had been watching Naruto with amusement, and asked. Sasuke, if I died, then how am I still alive? Naruto questioned in puzzlement. Sasuke's head dropped in sadness upon hearing Naruto's question, before he lifted it slightly and turned to gaze towards Sakura. Naruto followed his friend's gaze until it fell upon his former sensei still cradling Sakura to his chest. Naruto's eyes grew wide in shock and he rushed over to them. Kakashi-sensei, what's wrong with Sakura-chan? Why are you crying? I'm sorry, Naruto. Kakashi replied, as he wiped the tears out of his lone visible eye, before adding. I'm sorry, but Sakura is gone, she's dead. Dead? She can't be dead, how? She used the Kashu Tensei Jutsu to revive you. A visage of horror spread across Naruto's face, as he stammered. You mean the jutsu old lady Chiyo used on Gaara? Yes, that jutsu. Naruto knelt down and took Sakura's hand, while his head dropped low in grief. Kakashi, what is this Kashu Tensei Jutsu? Kashu Tensei Jutsu is a secret forbidden kinjutsu developed by Lady Chiyo of Suna Kurenai. It's a technique that requires its user to transfer their life in exchange for one who is already dead. A collective gasp was released by all of the Leaf Shinobi present, before Ino hesitantly asked. You mean Forhei? I mean Sakura gave her Lee. Yes, when someone uses this technique the user will find certain death in exchange for the soul of the deceased. In essence, Sakura willingly gave her entire life force to Naruto, so that he could live once again. I don't understand, I thought old Lady Chio was the only one who knew how to use that jutsu. Naruto openly asked in a choked voice. Sakura was always a smart girl, too smart for her own damn good. I can only guess she learned how to use the jutsu by observing Lady Chio utilize it on Gaara. Kakashi answered in a sad and bitter voice. It was at that moment Sakura's spirit appeared on the battlefield. She looked around a moment, before she noticed a strange chain protruding from her chest. She gazed with confusion, as she followed the direction of the links, before abruptly she saw that the chain was severed. When Sakura looked up she saw the direction the chain was coming from led to the sight of all of her friends and the Shinigami standing around something. Sakura began to walk forward to see what they were staring at, when her breath hitched in her throat, as she saw her body being held by Kakashi with Naruto holding her hand. As she got closer, she noticed many people were weeping and Sakura called out. Hey everyone, I'm over here. They can't hear or see you, young lady. A voice said behind her, startling the pink-haired Kunoiki. Whirling around, Sakura found herself facing the Shinigami commander Yamamoto, before she stammered in query. What do you mean they can't hear me or see me? You can hear and see me. Your friends and comrades of the human world can't see you or hear you, because you no longer reside in that realm. I don't understand what you mean. I mean, Sakura, is that you died in the human world and have now passed on into the spirit realm and only a Shinigami can see and hear you now. I know this comes as a shock to you and everything seems a bit confusing, but your most recent memory should return shortly. As if on cue, Sakura started to remember everything and of the choice she made to save Naruto. I understand now, Yamamoto-san, but what is this strange chain attached to me? That is what we call the chain of fate, and it connects the soul to its living body. When this chain is severed, such as yours, the soul can no longer return to its body and live. So what happens now? Well, you can move about freely if the chain is broken, but this also causes the chain to slowly corrode. So a Shinigami needs to perform the ritual called Konso to send you to the Soul Society, before this corrosion becomes significant. What happens if the corrosion becomes significant? If the chain of fate is corroded entirely, you will become a hollow. Yamamoto ominously answered. What's a hollow? A hollow is a creature born from a human soul, who for various reasons, did not cross over to Soul Society after the death and stayed in the human world for too long. They are corrupt spirits with supernatural powers, which become devourer of souls from both living and deceased humans. But why do they turn into such creatures? Yamamoto exhaled a sigh, before he grimly replied. The majority of souls peacefully move on to the Soul Society after the deaths. However, some stay in the living world to fulfill certain goals, such as looking after a loved one, protecting a particular location, or pursuing a grudge from beyond the grave. However, with only limited abilities to interact with the living, and by definition tied to the goals, many souls find they are unable to cope when their loved ones move on or old enemies forget them. At this point, some will become dangerously obsessed with fulfilling those goals, even if the means to fulfill them renders the soul empty, for example, killing anyone who comes near a loved one in order to keep them from hurting that person. In doing so, the soul warps into a hollow and, ironically, often makes the focus of their obsession into their first victim. And the only way to prevent this from happening is for a Shinigami to perform this Konso ritual. Yes, if a Shinigami gives the soul a soul burial, it will not turn into a hollow, but instead be sent to the Soul Society to dwell until they are reincarnated into the human world. Sakura pondered intently about what Yamamoto had just explained to her, before she finally turned her head towards the imposing Shinigami and declared, I don't want to turn into one of these hollow monsters. And it's possible I could lose my heart to despair or regret at watching Naruto-kun move on and forget about me. He was starting to do that when I was alive, not that I blame him for it. So it's best for me to move on. Sakura then took a deep breath, before she nervously stammered. Commander Yamamoto, would you do me the honor of performing this Konso ritual on me? The honor would not be yours but mine, young Sakura. You made the ultimate and most honorable act one can make in sacrificing yourself to save another. So it is I who is honored that you would request me to perform your soul burial. However, before I do, I think your comrades wish to say goodbye to you. I'm not sure I could face them, especially Naruto-kun. I love him, but I don't know what to say to him after learning just how badly I've hurt him the past few years. Well, if you love him as you say, then do not cause him any more pain by denying him the chance to say goodbye to you. Sakura took a moment, before she nodded her head in understanding, as she and Yamamoto began walking towards the others. As everyone stood around Naruto, Kakashi, and Sakura, it was Yoruichi who noticed Yamamoto approaching them and announced, "Hey, it's the old man and he's brought Sakura's spirit with him." This got all of the Leaf Shinobi's immediate attention, before Ino commented, "What are you talking about? I don't see Sakura anywhere. Remember what we told you earlier, only a Shinigami can see and hear someone who has died in the human world and have now passed on into the spirit realm, as Sakura has. You might not be able to see her, but I assure you she is here. Correct Shunsui, and before I perform the Konso ritual on Sakura, as I was going to do with Naruto's spirit. All of you have a chance to say your final words and goodbyes to her in private and we will relay her responses back to you. Momo Hinamori, would you do the honors of the translation and voice for Sakura?" "Hi, Commander Yamamoto," Momo replied, while bowing her head in respect to the Shinigami commander. The young Shinigami then turned her attention to the Leaf Shinobi and asked, "Which of you would like to go first to speak to Sakura-san?" Everyone began to look around at one another, before Kurenai stepped forward and she and Momo walked a short distance away. Upon arriving at a safe distance from any earshot, the Genjutsu mistress hesitantly asked, What do I do?" "Just speak, Lady Kurenai, Sakura can hear you, she just won't be able to respond to you with her own voice, as I will speak for her. Sakura, you and I were never close and I feel regret for that. However, I just wanted to say that I'm proud of you for saving Naruto's life. The sacrifice you made honors you both as a Kunoichi and a woman. Too often praise is always given to a man who has made the same sacrifice, while women who make it are forgotten about. I swear I will not let that happen with you, Sakura," Kurenai declared, before bowing in respect. "Thank you, Kurenai-sensei. I too regret that we never became close during my life, as I always admired and respected you. You always upheld and maintained the finest qualities of being not only a Kunoichi, but also a woman of impeccable reputation. I can see why Hinata also holds those very traits with you as her teacher and friend. How could she not? Thank you for your kind words, Kurenai-sensei." As Kurenai walked away to let someone else speak, it was Yugito who stepped forward, surprising many people including Sakura, as the Kumo Kunoichi approached and spoke. "Sakura-san, you and I don't know one another, but I still felt I needed to thank you for saving Naruto-kun. He has become important to me and the thought of losing him is just, thank you, Sakura-san. You care a great deal for Naruto-kun, don't you?" Momo said, repeating Sakura's words. I do care for him, but I'm confused about my feelings. I don't understand how someone in such a short amount of time can become such an important and integral person in my life. Especially after I vowed to myself not to let that happen after what I've suffered the past several years. I understand your confusion, Yugito-san, I too suffered from it, but for different reasons. All I can say is don't doubt your feelings for Naruto. He has that special ability even when we were kids that people are drawn to him. And if Naruto-kun expresses his feelings for you, accept them, you won't regret it. His feelings are always true and if you're lucky enough to gain his love, I promise you it's genuine. Thank you, Sakura-san, Yugito said with a bow of respect, before returning to the others, passing Ino on her way. As Ino approached Momo, she wrung her hands nervously, as she wasn't sure what she wanted to say to Sakura, but knew something had to be said between the two former best friends. Hey Sakura, Ino sheepishly offered in greeting. Hey Ino, Sakura stammered in reply, as she was just as nervous as the blonde Kunoichi. Ino and Momo stood across from one another in uncomfortable silence for a couple of minutes, before Ino finally broke down and said, "Damn you, Sakura. Why did you have to go and do something like this for? Just when I finally think I've got how I feel about you settled. You go and do something so unbelievably selfless and noble that now I'm all screwed up about how I feel about you again. I'm sorry about that, but don't let this one act affect you so much. I know you love Naruto-kun, so just think of all of the pain and heartache I've caused him in his life, then you can go back to hating me. I deserve it." Another minute of uneasy silence went by, before Ino declared, "I never hated you, I was just so angry with you, but I didn't hate you. How could I? I would be a total hypocrite if I hated you for hurting Naruto-kun. I hurt him badly as well, or did you forget about that? I remember. Kami, what a couple of stupid and foolish girls we ended up being. First we fight over Sasuke when we were younger and it costs us our friendship. And what's so sad is the boy we should have been fighting over was there all along, but we were just too blind to see him. Hinata wasn't too blind back then. Ino pointed out. No, she wasn't. It's funny that the shy girl who always stayed quiet and in the background ended up being the smartest and the best out of all the girls back then. I'll let her know you said that. I'd like that, and if you could please let her know that I'm happy Kami is giving her a second chance with Naruto-kun. I know Hinata has always truly loved him and he deserves to have someone like that in his life. She deserves it too after the life she has had to endure. First from her clan and then from that bastard Kiba. What about you, Ino? Has Naruto-kun forgiven you? Hi, he did. I don't why considering how badly I hurt him, but he did. So Hinata and I are going to give it a try to make it work. All three of you, together, how did that happen? Sakura exclaimed in surprise, which Momo conveyed to Ino. It's complicated and it probably won't be easy for us, but we're still going to try. I wish you good luck and I guess congratulations on Kami giving you a second chance with Naruto-kun as well. I have to say I'm envious at the second chances Kami blessed you and Hinata with. I wish I could have gotten one, but I understand why I didn't. My sins against him were much too severe and too numerous. Don't say that, I'm sure Naruto-kun would have forgiven you in time as well. Perhaps, but I know even if he did, I don't deserve it. Is that why you did what you did? Were you looking for some sort of penance or redemption? No, I did what I did because it was the only way to save Naruto-kun. He's too important to too many people and the world needs a living Naruto more than it needs a living Sakura in it. The world needs both of you, Sakura. Ino snapped with frustration, as tears began to roll down her cheeks. Thank you for saying that. Believe me, I wish there was another way I could have saved Naruto-kun without forfeiting my own life, but there wasn't. So I chose the only option I had to save him and I'm okay with it. Well, the rest of us aren't okay with it and I'm positive Naruto-kun isn't going to be okay with it either. I'm sorry, Ino, but what's done is done and I don't regret my decision at all if it means Naruto-kun continues to live. Ino brought her hand up to wipe away the tears in eyes, before she said with sincerity. Thank you for saving him, I just wish there could have been another way. I know, but at least we got a chance to say goodbye to one another. You were a great friend to me, Ino, in my life, the best I could have ever hoped for. I'm sorry I stupidly threw that friendship away over a boy I thought loved. I'm sorry too, Sakura. Maybe if I had fought harder for that friendship and not let my rivalry with you for that same boy cloud my judgment, we could have. Ino replied, as she struggled to find the right words, before Sakura said. I know what you're trying to say and it's alright, I feel the same way. Goodbye, Ino, and take care of yourself and live a long and happy life. Goodbye, Sakura, you take care as well and I'll see you on the other side one day. I look forward to it. Oh, and one more thing. Don't blow this second chance with Naruto-kun. Because if you do and I find out you've hurt him again, I'm going to come back and haunt your ass to your dying day, pig. You got that? Ino cracked a small smile, before she replied. Yeah, I got it, below bored brow. Don't worry, I'm not going to blow it again, I promise. Ino gave a small sad wave towards Momo, before she walked back to where her friends and comrades were waiting. When she arrived, it was quite evident to those who knew her that Ino had been crying. This surprised many of them considering the animosity she and Sakura had exhibited towards one another the past few years. However, upon reflection, it was good that the two former best friends left on amicable terms. Kakashi and Sasuke looked at one another to see who wanted to go next to say goodbye to Sakura. It was obvious to the silver-haired Junin that his former student was not quite ready yet to speak to Sakura. He put his hand on Sasuke's shoulder and patted it, before he strode over to where Momo was waiting. So you say Sakura's spirit is right here? Kakashi asked in query to Momo. Yes, I promise you, she is standing right next to me. But I won't be able to touch her. That's correct. That's disappointing. Why do you want to be able to touch me, Kakashi-sensei? Momo asked, speaking for Sakura. Because I'd like to put you over my knee and spank the living hell out you for pulling such an irresponsible stunt as this. Kakashi angrily replied. You don't mean that. The hell I don't. I'm sorry, Kakashi-sensei, but you wouldn't spank me for two reasons. 1. I'm much too old to be spanked, and if you tried, I'd bring you up sexual assault charges with Lady Sunid. They wouldn't stick, not when Lady Sunid learned of the reason behind it. She will probably want to tan your hide as well because of what you have done. Perhaps, but that brings me to my second reason why you wouldn't spank me. And what's that, Sakura? Those who break the rules are trash, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than trash. Damn it. Kakashi cursed under his breath at having his own words used against him. Kakashi-sensei, I know you're hurting over what I did, but I didn't have any other choice, if Naruto-kun was to live again. There should have been another way. I also wish there was another way I could have saved Naruto-kun without forfeiting my own life, but there wasn't. And like I told Ino, I chose the only option I had to save him, and I'm okay with it, sensei. Sensei, why do you even bother to call me that, Sakura? I was a terrible teacher to both you and Naruto growing up. You were a great teacher. Stop lying, Sakura. I was the worst teacher, because I favored Sasuke out of some blind rationalization that I needed to honor my late teammate Obito. And in doing so I neglected both you and Naruto, and that is unforgivable to me. I forgive you, Kakashi-sensei, can you forgive me? I don't deserve your forgiveness, but thank you. And yes, I do forgive you, how can I not? The sacrifice you made today is the same Obito made for me many years ago. However, while I may forgive you, I'm not sure Naruto is going to. I know, but perhaps that's what I deserve. I've committed a lot of sins against Naruto-kun in my life, too many for him to forgive me for. But if Kami deems it necessary for me to leave this world without his forgiveness, then that's how it will be, and I understand. After a minute of soulful silence between the silver-haired Junin and his former Kunoichi pupil, Kakashi spoke up and said, I guess there's really nothing left to say other than goodbye, Sakura. Please know that I will miss you for the rest of my life. Goodbye, Kakashi-sensei, and thank you. I will miss you as well, and pray that one day Kami will grant us the good fortune of seeing each other again in the afterlife. I shall hope and pray for that as well. Kakashi replied with sincerity, before he turned away to walk back to where his fellow leaf shinobi waited for his return. When Kakashi arrived, Kurenai slipped her hand into his own to give comfort to him, while he nodded his head to Sasuke. The Uchiha inhaled and exhaled a deep breath, before he marched towards Momo. Upon reaching the young Shinigami, he flashed a pleasant smile, which caused Momo to blush a bit. Is Sakura here, Momo? Hi Sasuke, she is standing here next to me. Momo indicated to her right. Sasuke stared at the empty air, before he finally said, Hello Sakura. Hello Sasuke-kun. HMPH, you still call me Sasuke-kun, even after we broke up. Sasuke stated in a mirthless chuckle. I guess old habits die hard, Sasuke-ku, Sasuke. An uneasy silence enveloped the former betrothed couple, as both Sasuke and Sakura struggled to find the words they wanted to say. It was Sasuke who found his voice first and asked. I just want to know one thing, Sakura. Why? I don't understand, why what? Why did you start up a relationship with me 5 years ago, when you knew I wasn't the one you truly loved? From everything I've learned, you were happy with Naruto before I returned. Why would you throw that away, especially when you knew how much he loved you? Sakura exhaled a regretful sigh, before she spoke with sadness. I wish I had an acceptable answer to give you, but I don't. I was a fool to throw away what I had with Naruto-kun when you returned, but at the time I really thought you were the one that I loved, Sasuke. I don't understand, Sakura, were you not happy with Naruto? I was happy, I just didn't realize how much at the time. You have understand, Sasuke, since I was young I always believed that you were the one that I loved. And when you left, I was devastated for such a long time. I'm sorry you were so hurt by me leaving, but honestly you shouldn't have been. I never returned any of your affections back then. I would have thought me knocking you out and leaving you on that bench would have finally gotten that point across. It should have, but it didn't. That's how strong my love, or what I thought was love, I held for you was. What about Naruto? Back then, I always thought that Naruto's love for me was superficial. He never denied his feelings for me, and because Naruto always proudly proclaimed his love of me so openly and without reservation, I believed he couldn't be serious. Then why did you start a relationship with him if you felt that way? Well, our friendship did grow stronger when he returned from his training, and with both of you being gone I had grown lonely. So you started dating the Dobe for 3 years out of loneliness, even though you still felt that I was the one you were in love with. That's pretty messed up, Sakura, to do that to him. I already know that, Sasuke. At the time it wasn't my intention to date Naruto for that long. As I said, I thought his feelings for me was just a crush that he would grow out of after a while. He would see after a few weeks of going out that I wasn't the one for him. However, we got along so well that a few weeks became a few months, and in the blink of an eye 3 years had gone by, and then you returned. That doesn't explain why you would instantly dump Naruto, someone you admit you were happy with, for me. There is no rational explanation for me doing that. During that week you were in the hospital after Naruto had brought you back, I could tell you had changed. The way you spoke and acted around me was different than how you used to treat me before you left. You were so nice and caring and open, everything I had always envisioned you to be. So that day in the hospital room, when you asked me to become your girlfriend, it was my dream coming true that I had held onto for so long. That's why I lied to you about my relationship with Naruto. My lifelong fantasy of a life with you had become real, and I truly believed you were the one I loved. That was my justification for lying to you, but the justification I had created was false, and its only result was me lying to myself all this time. A pall of silence fell upon the two former teammates, before Sakura asked a heartfelt question. Can I ask you a question, Sasuke, and please be honest with me? What's the question? While we were together, were you happy? Sasuke stiffened a bit and his brow creased in thought, as he contemplated how to answer Sakura's question, before he finally said. Honestly, it's been such a long time since I last experienced happy, I'm not sure what happy is anymore. But I was content when I was with you, Sakura. I thought so, because eventually as a relationship moved forward, that's also how I began to feel as well. And when I finally realized that, I knew a romantic relationship should be based on love and happiness, not contentment with another. I also finally admitted to myself that the last time I felt truly happy was when I was with Naruto-kun. Can I ask you a question, Sakura, and please be honest with me? Hi Sasuke. Why was it that Naruto made you happy, where I couldn't? I didn't realize it at the time when I was with Naruto-kun, but the love and affection he showered upon me not only brought me joy, but also gave me a sense of safety and self-confidence in myself. Knowing that no matter how many I got knocked down in some way in my life, Naruto-kun would always be there to put me on a pedestal and lift my spirits. Sadly, by the time I had realized how important Naruto-kun was to me and held such a deep and tender spot in my heart, I had already lost him. Well, thanks for being honest with me, Sakura. I think I understand you a lot better now and why you did what you did. Sasuke, please don't misunderstand or think that I hold no love for you in my heart, because I do. It's just a different kind of love than what you feel for the Dobe. Sasuke stoically commented. Yes, Sakura solemnly answered, before she added. Sasuke, I'm sorry for any pain I caused you, but please promise me something. Don't give up on finding true love and happiness with someone. I know there is someone special out there who you can love and be happy with, and who in return will love you the same way I feel for Naruto-kun. I've been considering what you just said already, Sasuke remarked, as his eyes glanced momentarily towards Momo, before he then declared. I promise you, Sakura, I won't give up. Thank you, Sasuke, and even though we're no longer together, I will miss you. I'll miss you too, and perhaps one day Kami will be kind and allow us to reunite once more. Sasuke replied with sincerity, before he turned to go get the last and most important person Sakura needed to say her final goodbye to. When Naruto saw Sasuke walking back, he strode forward with a determined look upon his face. As he met Sasuke midway, the Uchiha stopped him and said, Naruto, I'm not going to tell you how you should feel about Sakura, and you can tell me to go to hell if you want. All I want to say is Sakura has changed. She's no longer the same girl who hurt you so badly 5 years ago. Sasuke then resumed his trek back to the others, while Naruto resumed walking towards Momo. When he arrived, he exhaled a deep breath and waited. After a moment, Sakura tentatively said, which Momo conveyed. Hi Naruto-ku. Naruto. However, Sakura did not receive a greeting, but rather a harsh question voiced by Naruto in a choked voice. Damn you, Sakura, why did you do this? I'm sorry. I don't want your damn apologies, answer my question. Why did you use that forbidden jutsu and sacrifice your life to save me? I didn't ask you to do that, and I never wanted it. I used that jutsu, because it was the only way I could save your life. That still doesn't answer why. I did it because you're too important to too many people in the world. I'm not so important at the cost of your own life. Yes, you are. Damn it. No, I'm not. Damn it. Yes, you are. You may not realize it, but you've always had a unique ability to touch people's hearts and minds. The lives you touch after meeting you always makes that person want to strive to achieve great things. You inspire them to change for the better. That's a special gift, and you have many more lives to bestow it upon in your life. And the truth is, the world needs a living Naruto, more than it needs a living Sakura in it. Naruto was stunned by this response and didn't know how to respond. After a few seconds, he remarked in frustration. You're important to Sakura-chan. Sakura's heart fluttered a bit when she heard Naruto address her with the affectionate suffix, chan, attached to her name that she hadn't heard from him in a long time, before she commented. Thank you for thinking that of me, Naruto-kun, but in the grand scheme of things I'm not as important or needed as you are to live. That wasn't your decision to make. I don't want your life sacrificed for me. Naruto shouted, infuriated by Sakura's reply. Maybe it wasn't my decision to make, but I did, and I don't regret it at all. Why? Because I love you. Sakura softly declared. What did you say? Naruto stammered in shock. I said I love you, Naruto-kun. I know that's hard for you to believe considering how badly I hurt you, and I wouldn't blame you for doubting what I say. But I swear to Kami I'm telling you the truth. I love you and have for a long time. I was just too stupid to admit it to myself, and because I ended up losing the greatest thing I ever had in my life. A pall of eerie silence fell upon them, and Sakura waited nervously for Naruto's response. After a minute, the blonde shinobi finally did and sadly asked the question Sakura dreaded. If you love me, then why did you leave me for Sasuke? Naruto-kun, I can't give you a rational or logical explanation of why I did that. If I could go back in time to stop myself from doing it, I would. Not only because it cost me the greatest guy in the world and a chance to be truly happy, but also because of how much I hurt you, which you never deserved. Looking back on it now, all I can say is I spent so much of life focusing on having a life with Sasuke, that I didn't see what I already had. And when he came back and asked me to be his girlfriend, I lost all sense, because everything I had hoped and dreamed about what I wanted in my life with someone I loved, I already had with you. The sad truth is I let my childish fantasy that I had about Sasuke convince me that he was the one I truly loved. And because of that, I ended up losing the one person who was the most important to me and that I did truly love in you, Naruto-kun. Naruto stood silent and unmoving, as he pondered what Sakura had just said, before she added with regret and remorse. I know it probably means little to you now and it seems hollow even to me, but I don't know what else I can say, but I'm sorry, Naruto-kun. I deeply regret and never meant to hurt you the way I did. I don't blame you if you've hated me since then, because truthfully, I've hated myself for doing what I did to you. I won't ask for your forgiveness, I know I don't deserve it. All I can do is pray to Kami that perhaps one day when you think of me, if you think of me, your thoughts will be of the good times we shared and not the pain I caused you, Naruto-kun. I forgive you, Sakura-chan. Naruto softly said. What did you say? Sakura stammered, as she fell to her knees. I said I forgive you. Why? How can say such a thing after how much I've hurt you? Sakura asked in utter disbelief and confusion with tears welling in her eyes. I forgive you because a small part of me will always love you, Sakura-chan. You were the first girl to acknowledge me and treat me with kindness and friendship. Granted, that changed when Sasuke entered the picture, before and sadly after he returned. But I still have some fond memories of us when we were little kids and then when we were together, so I thank you for those. You foolish Barker, how can you be so kind to forgive me? I don't deserve it at all. Sakura exclaimed in guilty frustration, still on her knees and wrapping her arms around herself, as tears fell down her face. Maybe, but that's not your decision to make, but mine, and I don't regret it at all. Naruto replied, mimicking Sakura's own words about the decision she made to save his life at the cost of her own. After a couple minutes of crying over Naruto's benevolence and compassion he was giving her, Sakura finally began to calm down and wiping the tears from her eyes looked up at Naruto. Thank you for the kindness you've shown me. Sakura tenderly said, before she hesitantly asked with as much hope as she could pray to Kami for. Naruto-kun, I know you don't feel this way anymore, but do you think there might come a day where you can love me once more, as you did when we were together? If Kami is benevolent enough to reunite you and I in his kingdom, I believe that day could perhaps come. I pray that it will, Naruto-kun, and know that I will wait for that day and for you for all of eternity if I have to. Sakura declared with love and sincerity. Thank you for saving my life, Sakura-chan. I wish you hadn't made the sacrifice you did, but there's nothing I can do to change it, can I? What's done is done. All that is left is for Yamamoto-sama to perform this Konso ritual to send my soul to the afterlife. Kit, before you say your final goodbye, would you please convey to the young woman my thanks and gratitude for her sacrifice, as it not only saved your life, but mine as well. Kuruma expressed to his container. I didn't think you liked Sakura-chan, Kurama. To be honest, I never have, considering the pain she has caused you, Kit, but it would be dishonorable of me not to communicate my gratitude for what she did. Sakura-chan, Kurama also wants to thank you for saving his life as well. Kurama, who is Kurama? That's the true name of the Kyuubi no Yuko. Is that a good thing that I saved the nine-tailed demon fox? Sakura questioned in curiosity. Grr. Kurama growled inside Naruto's mind. Yeah, it's a good thing, I promise. Naruto chuckled in response, before the realization that he was about to bid farewell to Sakura hit him hard, as he stated in a pained voice. I don't want to say goodbye to you. I don't want to say goodbye to you either, so why don't we just say until we meet again? Sakura remarked in an equally pained tone of voice. Oh okay, until we meet again, Sakura-chan. With nothing left to say, Naruto, Momo, and Sakura made their way back towards all of their comrades. When Naruto and Momo arrived with Sakura in tow, the blonde shinobi knelt down and lifted Nell into his arms and hugged the young girl tightly. Both Ino and Yugito wrapped their arms around Naruto to comfort and support him, as Yamamoto announced. Per Sakura's request, I will now perform the Konso ritual, which will free Sakura's spirit from this realm and send her to the Soul Society. Yamamoto then took a knee, but still being the imposing figure he is, could still look Sakura in the eyes, as he instructed the young Kunoichi. Sakura, when you arrive at the Soul Society, I want you to seek out a Shinigami by the name of Ritsu Unohana. She is the Soul Society's most skilled healer and I believe you could learn much from her. Tell Captain Unohana it is my recommendation that she train you and induct you into the 4th division of the Gotei 13. I shall seek her out, Yamamoto-sama, but will she believe me? She will if you say one word, which only she and I know about. Yamamoto answered, before he leaned in and whispered in Sakura's ear. Kenpachi. Sakura nodded her head in understanding, before she closed her eyes and waited for the head captain to administer the Konso ritual. Yamamoto stood up and stepped back, before he brought his wooden staff forward and pointed it at Sakura. Instantly, the wood began peeling off, revealing its true form of a standard katana. The Gotei 13 commander then brought the hilt of his Zanpakuto forward and tapped the soul on Sakura's forehead. There was a small flash of light and everyone, including the Konoha shinobi, caught a brief flash of Sakura's image, before she was transported into the afterlife and the Soul Society. A sad pall of mournful silence enveloped everyone, punctuated by only the brief sob of one of Sakura's comrades. After a few minutes, it was Shunsui who cleared his throat and declared with conviction. It is always a sad day when a comrade and a friend passes on into the afterlife. However, they are never truly gone if you keep the memory and the love you held for that person in your mind and your heart. And the sacrifice Sakura made, I can think of nothing nobler than for someone to willingly give their life to save a comrade and friend that they cared for. Everyone took Shunsui's words to heart, before Yamamoto affirmed his student. Well said, Shunsui. A moment later Hinata arrived onto the battlefield, flanked by Princess Kyuki along with a few of her soldiers and Daisuke with several of his own. When Hinata saw Naruto and the blood-stained shirt he wore, she feared he was seriously injured and cried out, as she rushed forward. Naru-kun. When the Hyuga girl reached him, she frantically searched for a wound on Naruto, before he was able to stop her and said, I'm okay, Hina-chan, I'm not hurt. But all this blood on you. Hinata stammered in confusion. I won't lie to you, I was fatally hurt, but Sakura-chan was able to save me. Sakura saved you? Hinata asked, before she looked around and then saw Sakura's body lying on the ground silent and unmoving, and she gasped in shock, as she stepped towards her to help the pink-haired Kunoichi. It's too late, my Haim, you can't help Sakura-chan, she's gone. Naruto said in a sad voice, as he caught Hinata's arm to stop her. I don't understand, what's going on, Naru-kun, what happened? Come with me, I'll explain everything. Naruto solemnly said, as he and Hinata walked away from the others to talk. When Naruto and Hinata returned a short time later, the Hyuga girl was softly weeping. It was true that she and Sakura were never close, but she still felt sympathy for her and was eternally grateful that in sacrificing her life, she had saved her beloved Naruto. Upon their return, they noticed Yugito propped up against a tree holding a sleeping Nell within her arms. Both Naruto and Hinata smiled at this sight, before she excused herself and both she and Ino began to prepare Sakura's body for transport back to the Leaf Village. As this was going on, Kakashi, along with Kurenai, Sasuke, and Naruto were in deep conversation about Kiba. We have a situation here, people. Lady Tsunade tasked both myself and Kurenai to bring all of you back to the village safe and unharmed. We've already failed that mission considering what has happened. But now we're faced with a bigger issue with regards to Kiba. Kakashi lamented in concern. What issue are you talking about? Sasuke questioned. The situation that your attack on Kiba and to a lesser extent Ino's attack as well resulted in Kiba's death could have serious ramifications back in the village, if we bring his body back. It would take the Leaf Village coroner no time at all to figure out that it was a Chidori that mortally wounded Kiba. Upon this discovery, Lady Tsunade would be required to have all of us undergo mind sweep from a Yamanaka in the Anbu Interrogation and Torture Division to learn the truth about everything. And if the truth is revealed, it could cause a clan war within the village of the Inuzuka clan wanting retribution for the murder of the heir of the clan. I don't understand, who would Inuzuka clan go to war with? I mean the team is the last of his clan. It's not simple, Naruto. If the Inuzuka clan declared war on Sasuke, Lady Tsunade would have to intervene to protect him, pitting the Inuzukas against the village. Not to mention if they also declare war against the Yamanaka clan for what Ino did. If that were to happen, it would draw in all of the other clans due to the various treaties each clan has with another. In short, a full-blown civil war could erupt in the Leaf Village, if the circumstances of Kiba's death are made public. There's an easy enough solution, just bury the mutt here. Sasuke callously remarked. Watch your mouth, Uchiha. Kiba may have fallen the past few years, but he wasn't always like this and was once an honorable shinobi of the Leaf Village. We cannot leave Kiba's body here. The Inuzuka clan and Sume Inuzuka in particular deserve to be able to mourn for Kiba. I agree with Kurenai-sensei, it would cause Sume and Hana great pain of not being able to mourn for Kiba without some physical representation of him to do so. Hinata stated, as she and Ino joined the others. Hinaheim, are you sure? I mean after everything that bastard put you through the past 3 years. Naruto expressed in disbelief. I'm sure, Naruto, please don't misunderstand me, it's true I've hated Kiba for the past 3 years. But at one time he was a valued friend and teammate to me. More important than that is while I've hated Kiba the past 3 years, I've also grown close to Sume and Hana and many members of the Inuzuka clan. And as Kurenai-sensei said, they all deserve to be able to mourn for Kiba. Excuse me, I couldn't help but overhear the dilemma you face with your former comrade's death, and I believe I have a solution. Yamamoto offered to them. What is your solution, Yamamoto-san? If I understand your problem correctly, young Naruto, you cannot return the body of your former comrade back to your village due to the circumstances around his death. For if you were, it could potentially lead to unrest within your homeland and potentially more deaths in the future. Is that correct? Yes, Yamamoto-san, that is the situation we now face. Kakashi contritely answered. Then I suggest you return your comrade's body in a different form than what it is currently in. What do you mean a different form? I mean let the cleansing power of fire transmute your comrade and allow his body to flow to the heavens. You want us to cremate Kiba? Kurenai exclaimed in surprise. It does solve the problem of destroying the physical evidence of Kiba's true demise, but we still have the issue of all of us possibly being submitted to undergo a mind sweep. Kakashi openly commented. I can plant a false memory in all of us of Kiba dying a hero's death. Ino suggested to everyone. Will your false memory be strong enough to withstand a Yamanaka mind sweep? Yes, Kakashi-sensei, I'm the strongest Yamanaka next to my father in terms of our mental abilities. I believe only he and my clan would be able to perceive my false memory. Well, unless someone can come up with anything better, I'd say this is the best plan to go with. Everyone nodded their head in agreement with the silver-haired Junin, before Ino stated with a little concern. We do have one problem. I cannot plant a false memory within myself. Well, that just blows the plan all to hell then. Sasuke openly groused. Not necessarily. I can request that my father be the one to mind-sweep me. What good will that do? I believe once my father sees this memory of what we're discussing right now, he will realize the situation we were faced with and act accordingly to protect us. So we're just supposed to go on blind faith that your dad will ignore his duty and not turn us in. What other choice do we have, Sasuke? I know it's a risk, but I have faith that my father will understand the ramifications of what may happen not only to us, but the entire village if he were to reveal the truth to everyone. All the Leaf Shinobi contemplated deeply what Ino had just said, before Hinata spoke up first, surprising all of them, and said, I believe it is a risk worth taking. Inoiki-san is a kind and honorable man, and I believe Ino is correct when she says he will keep the truth to himself in order to protect not only all of us, but the entire Leaf Village. And as Ino pointed out, what other choice do we have? So, do we all agree to this plan? Kakashi asked. Everybody one by one nodded their head in agreement. Okay, I guess our first task is to get Kiba ready for his cremation. I will prepare him. I will help you, Kurenai-sensei. Are you sure, Hinata? Kiba was once our friend and teammate, that is how I wish to remember him. I'll help you guys too. Ino offered, as all three women began walking towards Kiba's body. Sasuke and I will dig and prepare a small grave for his cremation. Kakashi solemnly stated, as he and Sasuke walked away, leaving only Naruto and Gote 13 Commander. Yamamoto-san, can I ask you a question? Of course you may. How come you or one of the other Shinigami didn't perform the Konso ritual on Kiba like you did with Sakura-chan? We couldn't perform the Konso ritual on your former comrade because his spirit wasn't available to us to do so. I don't understand. I fear your comrade's soul had become so corrupt that upon his death he did not appear in the spiritual world as Sakura's did, but was transported to somewhere else. Where did his spirit go? I believe his spirit might have been sent to a place we call Huko Mundo. What is that? Huko Mundo is an evil dimension, which lies in between the human world and Soul Society. What's going to happen to Kiba there? I don't know, young Naruto, I honestly don't know. Naruto and Sasuke laid Kiba's body into the shallow grave and everyone was given an opportunity to say any parting words about him. Everyone did speak, although each of their laments was brief, as Kiba had changed so much the past few years, no one really knew him anymore. After everybody was done, Yamamoto stepped forward and tapped his wooden cane onto Kiba's chest. Instantly, Kiba's body erupted in flames, and even though the Inuzuka heir probably didn't deserve it, many of his former comrades and friends did watch with sadness, as Kiba was reduced to ashes. When the cremation was done and the grave had cooled, everyone turned to walk away save for Kakashi and Kurenai, who stepped forward with an urn and knelt down to begin to collect Kiba's ashes. Kakashi also knelt down to help, before Kurenai stopped him and said, You don't have to help, Kiba was my student and it's my responsibility to do this for him and his family. I know I don't have to help, but I want to help. We both lost students today, so I know the pain you're feeling, as it's the same pain I'm enduring as well. Thank you, Kakashi-kun. When the two Leaf Junin finished gathering up Kiba's remains, they walked together back to where all of the Shinigami and their comrades were gathered. So what do we do now? Naruto openly asked. I humbly ask, Naruto, that you gather all of your forces and you and all of your comrades here spend tonight as the honored guests of the Land of Spring. I wish to throw all of you a celebration, as a show of gratitude for freeing my people and my land. It will also give my people a chance to see, honor, and thank all the heroes who defeated Madara and the Akatsuki. Princess Kiyuki cordially invited, while bowing to everyone in a show of respect and gratitude. Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I could use a little rest and relaxation. Shunsui lazily announced to everyone. I could use a bit of pampering myself. Yoruichi remarked in agreement, before she leaned over and kissed Shunsui on the cheek. Naruto looked around at his Leaf Village comrades and could see they were all tired and decided a bit of rest couldn't hurt, as he called out. Daisuke, gather all of our men and bring them to the palace for a celebration in their honor for our victory over the enemy. As you command, Naruto-sama. The large axe-wielding commander of Naruto's forces replied with a curt bow, before he and his men raced off to carry out Naruto's orders. As everyone began their trek towards Kiyuki Castle, Naruto turned and asked Yamamoto a question. Yamamoto-san, I want to thank you for helping to defeat Madara and his Akatsuki followers, but what will you do now? I've been pondering that very question, and after seeing the power you and your comrades displayed on the battlefield today, I believe all of you might be able to help myself and my Shinigami brethren. How can we help? I'll discuss it with you later after we've gotten settled, young Naruto, for we have much to discuss about your future and the future of some of your comrades as well. Naruto wasn't sure what to make of the Gote 13 commander's last statement, but he was too tired to give it much thought and would learn what it meant soon enough. Naruto then wrapped each of his arms around both Hinata and Ino's shoulders and walked with them towards the castle with both ladies resting their heads on his shoulder. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.